What is up, everybody? It is DJ Martini Midwest Reviews coming at you with another video for my channel. Today I got a really good one. We're going to be talking about the Sowo Mage Pro Soundwave Bluetooth speaker set. It is a Bluetooth speaker set with stands, a case, stereo sound, Bluetooth 5.3. It's got a lot of ups for it. We're going to give a really in-depth review on it, so it's going to be a little long. So hang in there with me. Check out the whole video, hopefully, really in depth if you want to see everything that is involved with this speaker set. Now, if you don't want to, on to the next one, but we're going to be talking about this Sowo. I'm going to be saying this all video. I'm super excited. It's a really cool little set that I picked up, and it's relatively even cheaper now, so we're going to be talking about that as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. If you've never tuned into my channel, just know I love doing reviews. That's what I'm here to do. And I want to do a lot more of it, but I need you guys. I need the subscribers. I want to hit 10,000 this year. So let's continue to grow the Martini Nation. Like I said, I look for those items that maybe you don't see a lot of information on, but are still good. Do that research for you. Give it to you as easy as possible, and then leave the links in case you're interested in some of the products we talk about. So thank you guys so much. Hopefully we'll see you in my next video, and like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. All right, now back to the Soundwave Mage Pro Sowo. It's S-O-W-O, right? That's got to be right. I feel like I'm DJing right now. I'm trying to get the crowd hype, and so I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and I want you guys to go Sowo. No. All right, I gave it a try. All right, let's get into the review, guys. I always go with what is in the box first, and of course, I open the box. The box is pretty plain, but then I pulled the package out, and this was what was inside. Everything was inside. It was nicely plastic wrapped, so. It was sealed, so you knew it was brand new. Very, very cool. And this case is nice from Sowo. You guys are gonna get sick of it by the end of the video, but I'm gonna continue to do it. I just love saying that. And yes, reminds me of that Whoa song. Whoa. Anyways, yeah, so off track there, but back again, and we got the pocket here. And I always complain about zippers on products, but these zippers are on point. I like the way the zippers feel. I feel like they're going to be a little sturdier than most. Some feel really cheesy and cheap. These feel like they're going to last a little bit. The case is well built as well. Nice little handle on the top. You know, just a well-made case. Everything is custom in there, so you can actually mount everything really good. Velcro strips on the Velcro holders to hold everything in. So pretty good little case in my opinion. So very, very cool there. Also, you get 2 little carabiners because the speakers have little ribbon bands on them, so you'll be able to like clip these to your speaker, clip this to your bike, your backpack, your belt loop, those types of things. We'll show you that here in a second. Everything, like I said, was nicely wrapped up and packaged. The next thing, we'll talk about the stands really quick. Now, the stands are really cool, and this is some of the reviews, and we'll talk about the specs and the reviews on these. Gave them a little negative, was the stands were like cheap and they broke and stuff, but I've had pretty good luck with mine. It has a nice little mounting system. It was folded like this, and everything was put together already, so all I had to do is, you know, extend them, those types of things, and it was good to go. And in my opinion, they're, you know, pretty decent. I mean, and as long as you're not dropping them or those types of things, I think they'd be good to go. Anyways, so the only problem I have with is, so they have this nice little design, and it almost looks like a button. So I thought it was a button and I could push it or manipulate it and it would open the bottom, but that's not the case. So you actually have to kind of, these snaps together, and so you kind of get your fingers in there and kind of snap that open to get, which is kind of a pain in my opinion, but it works. And so that was the hardest part of these. But they have little suction cups on the bottom, which is really cool. So like on a wood floor or even a tiled floor, they'll stick and you hear that little, you know, so it's kind of cool. They're not super strong, but they work. I'll put it that way. But they're not gonna, like, it's not super strong. So you'll still be able to, you know, push it over and that kind of stuff if you really wanted to. These extend to about 4 feet. Look at that. They just keep going. I was really surprised for this small of a size of tripod that they went up this high. And so 4 foot long, Woo! And a little bit extra with the stand, which I would say is another 4 to 5 inches. So, all right. So then the next thing you want to see is probably the speaker. So let's go ahead and take a look at the speaker from Sowo. Hopefully you guys are saying that in the background. That would be awesome. All right. So very simple construction. Plus negative, the power button right here. You do have your Bluetooth connects for true wireless sound and Bluetooth for pairing if you need to do that. But honestly, the connection was super easy for me. Hopefully it works the same when I try to pair it to a new device for you guys today. But literally, I turned them on. I did have to, they were already getting ready for looking for Bluetooth, connected them to my phone. And then as soon as I turned the other speaker on that was in the box, boom, they connected together instantly. So I didn't have to do anything. It did it on its own, which was really, really cool. So hopefully it'll repeat that for me, but probably not because that's the way things work, right? But yes, very, very cool. I love the design. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. We'll talk about it. But, and then, like I said, USB Type-C charging, your connect buttons, and little bumps on the bottom to protect your table, but you can just use this as a regular Bluetooth speaker. There's that ribbon little clip so you can hook up those carabiners. Does also come with 2 charging cables. Now, I don't like that it comes with 2 charging cables because I wish it had a splitter cable like this splitter, but instead it comes with 2 cables because I just want to plug it into one thing, and it does not come with something like this, so you'll just have the USB Type-C, or sorry, the USB to USB Type-C. But yeah, so you'll need to pick up one of these if you want to charge it like that. But if it just comes with the cable, it's like this. But it comes with 2 of them, and so I'd rather be able to charge both speakers at the same time than one at a time and take up more outlets. But just my opinion there. Now, I actually had, and this was some complaints, was the cover came off one, but it actually has little clips and they snap right in. But if you take a little razor blade and you wanted to remove the cover just to look at the speaker, you can take a little razor blade and get in between there and kind of just get it to pop out. And this is what they look like inside. So you have a nice little speaker in there, very, very small, I would say 2-inch. And then you have a bass radiator. So this is not a speaker, this is a bass radiator, and basically it's going to help get some of that low end sound. A lot of speakers are doing that these days, and they do work. Yes, so they do that a lot with bass radiators to give it more bass sound. But that's what they look like inside. You can see that I can easily put that case back in. It just kind of snaps in there, and it's good. But that was another complaint, that this can fall out. But really, you could glue that in and it would stay in there forever. But anyways, not a big deal for me. Very good construction, in my opinion. Now, the next thing you need to know is, of course, the stand has these little clips, and this is the top, and they clip in, and the back has the mount there, and all you do is match it up, click it in, make sure it's on there, and boom. You got a speaker stand for these Bluetooth speakers, which I think is really interesting. I've never seen anybody do that. I think it's cool. And this is something that you can use in some ideas here, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So very, very cool. Holds on, not going anywhere. And so I don't have this tightened, but yeah, very, very cool in my opinion. So that's kind of how they're going to look for you. And I'll shine some pictures of me taking some pictures as well, but very cool. All right, let's go ahead and get into the specs and everything about these speakers. They retail for $89, which I think was still a good price. That's what I purchased them for, $89. 4.4 stars on Amazon with 117 reviews. So there's not a lot of reviews on them. And that's why I wanted to bring you guys this video, because that's what like I said, find those rare items and some cool techie items like this. And I thought it was super cool. So definitely bringing it here today. The Sowo. I'm waiting for you guys to respond. They are wireless, dual Bluetooth speaker set, high fidelity, they say. There is a coupon price right now for $69. I just wanted to bring that up. So if you do want to try this, I think it's the best time to do it right now. And that's another reason why I'm bringing them. $69.99 with the coupon, and you can, check them out. And if you don't like them, send them back to Amazon. But the Sowo, 12 watts of power. The whole package itself weighs 3 pounds, so they're not very heavy, very portable. The speaker itself, they only weigh like a can of pop, I would say, about 12 ounces, if not a little bit less. One touch pairing, auto reconnects, Bluetooth 5.3, 24 hours of battery life. They are claiming, but we're going to talk about that here in a second, IP rated 67. The only thing I have issues with that, which means you could submerge this up to 3 feet of water for 30 minutes. The only thing is that there's no cover on this USB Type-C port. And I don't know if they make waterproof USB Type-C ports. You guys let me know in the comments if you're wrong, man. They do make them and they don't need any covers. But there was no covers in them. There's nothing else in the package that I look for. And so that would just worry me a little bit that has an exposed port like that. That would just worry me a little bit that it has an exposed port like that. So definitely... I won't be submerging mine or putting them in water, but they are supposed to be waterproof, dustproof, those types of things. But like I said, there's no cover on those. So I don't know if mine are missing or something. Is it a defect? Let me know. Anybody else has these if you have covers on those. But that's the only question that I have on that. And then, of course, true wireless sound connect. So they're all wireless Bluetooth, work through the Bluetooth 5.3, which is a newer Bluetooth, which offers you a little bit more stability, a little bit of range, and a little bit more security as well. So very, very good. Should stay connected pretty well. And I had no issues throughout my house trying to just put things in various locations. It worked pretty good. Other than that, what can you use them for? Man, there's a lot of range that you can use them, but we'll get there towards the end of the video. Let's go back to that battery life. So it claims 24 hours of battery life. I used them for about 5 hours straight, had no issues, and they were around 50% volume. They claim at 70% volume, you're gonna get about 12 hours of battery life, and you're gonna get about 8 to 10 hours at 50%. 5 hours at 100% volume, and then 24 hours at 30% volume. All right, everybody, we are back, and we're gonna go ahead and hook up the Soundwave Pro Mage from Sowo, and it was very easy the first time I did it with my phone. Let's see if it works the same with my iPad mini, but I'm in my Bluetooth settings, and then the Bluetooth is on, and then I just wanna make sure, I've never hooked this up before, so this will be a new thing. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the button. You're gonna hear a little audible tone, and it's gonna be flashing. There you go, it's flashing. And then it does say Soundwave Mage Pro on the bottom, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit that button. And boom, it connected that fast, super easy. Now, so this is already connected. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the other speaker and see how quick it connects as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the other speaker on. Oh my God, they connected by themselves. I didn't have to do anything. Now it has the buttons for you to be able to do that if you have to do it. And there is an instruction book manual that I didn't show you guys early in the unboxing. So I have the manual. It's not fantastic, but all the instructions on how to do that are in there. But it did it on its own for me. And so that earns it, a couple stars there because it's super easy. So these are connected. And so all you have to do is if you want to put them on your stands, you can. So I'll go ahead and put that on a stand over here. And boom, now I have like a little stereo feed. I'm gonna even actually put this one over here. Just add a camera right there, boom. And so I have two speakers connected. Let's go ahead and play some music. I won't do it super loud because I'm right in front of it, but Sowo.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control in me, my thoughts get...
All right, so that's just a quick little sample, but honestly, they sound pretty good. That was about 50% volume. I'm not even gonna hit max because like I'm so close, but you can turn them all the way up. In fact, I'm gonna show you that because I'm gonna put it at 70% volume and then I'm gonna turn it up to 100 and tell me if you hear a big difference. So let's go ahead and go back into a song because I do wanna show you guys that. %50 volume. 70% volume. Max volume.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I failed.
So yeah, that was at max volume, and that's really loud. I would never have that right in front of my face. And then down to 70% volume, it was, you can tell there's a little gradual change, but there's not a lot of difference. I don't know if I can explain that through here, but from 70% volume to 100%, I didn't think there was a huge change in volume, especially if they're not right literally in front of you, if you had them a little spread out a little bit more. But like I said, so if that's 70% volume, it's the sweet spot in my opinion. It's a great volume to be at, and yet you're gonna get all the clarity. And when you do turn it up to 100% though, I still think they sound pretty decent. There's not a lot of distortion at high volume. So I think they do work really, really good. All right, everybody, we are back, and let's go give you pros and cons, and then I'm gonna give you some final thoughts as well and get you on your way. So stay tuned just a little bit longer. We're getting there toward the end, but I definitely want you to know these pros and cons. So pros for sure, price point at $69.99 right now with the coupon, definitely enough value and good working items as well. Also, number one pro is the one touch connection, man. It works really, really good. They auto shut off as well, but you saw how easy I turned the speaker on, I hit the connect button on my iOS device, turn the other speaker on, and it connected it to the other speaker really seamlessly. It was awesome. So that's the number one, definitely pro. Battery life still pro, even at 70% volume, you're gonna get like 12 hours. So I still think battery life's pretty good. The stands, everything works really well. I think everything's pretty decently made for being all plastic, you know, and everything like that. But we will talk a little bit more in the negatives about a few things. 3.1 pounds, everything doesn't weigh that much, super portable, comes with a really good case that's well made, and so all that positive. The sound is positive as well. Get that Bluetooth 5.3, which is a little bit newer and can help you as well with a little bit more tech. And like I said, the sound is good as well, and that's the most important thing for you, that the sound, in my opinion, is pretty decent. All right. It wouldn't be me if I didn't go to some negatives as well. I always do that. And like I said, I'm not paid by anybody. I bought these on my own dime. And so a few negatives that I do have is actually the tripods themselves are kind of hard to use. When I could not figure out how to open these. These things were clamped tight. And you can hear when that snapped together. I thought this was a button. It's not. And I could not figure out how to get these on. So you physically just have to kind of get in there into the bottom here and grab it with like a thumbnail here and snap it open. And so I think that could be a little bit differently made or something. That was hard to use. And also they could use a little lubrication, a little household oil, because these things are tight. At least mine are. Some probably won't be as tight, but definitely something to think about when you're picking these up. So the actual tripod operation, there's no instructions on how to use those or anything, but it was a little bit tricky to figure it out at first, but I kind of showed you guys. Also, the charging cables, it comes with 2, that's great, but I wish it was more like this, so I could just use 1 outlet and charge 2 devices. And then I wish it would have came with a little plug as well. That would have been great if it would have came. The instructions, it does come with instructions if I didn't say that earlier, but they are super small. They're in like 50 languages, and it's kind of tough to read and operate if I got the accordion here. So something I wanted to point out as well. And then the volume level as well. So if you up close, you could definitely tell that the volume from 70 to 100% was different. But if you have these 10, 12, 15 feet away and you go from 70 to 100%, I really didn't notice a big difference. And that's because they're really small speakers. So just something to put out there, you know, the headroom and things like that. If you're trying to do a big room, it's not going to really do anything, but it will be some ambient noise, and you will be able to make out, you know, voices and what's going on, but it's not going to be super loud in a big room. But in, you know, maybe this is a pretty decent sized room. I would say it's 20 by 15, and, you know, an extra section on the side. And I was able to fill this whole room with sound very, very well at about 70%. So pretty decent background type noise. And so I thought that was pretty good. But just to let you know on the volume level there. And then finally, 2.5 hours to charge from a dead battery. And really quick on the dead battery, if you receive these, mine had charge, but always charge your item as soon as you get it. I know you want to use it, you want to play with it, you want to get to it, but please charge them first, and that's going to save some longevity on those batteries. Also, is I have 1 day every month or 2 months, depending on my time limit here, but I have a day at least every 2 months that I find all my items, pro tip, and I charge them, man. Always store things with a charged battery, because they will just slowly drain over time. Even stored, some items are really good at retaining that, but they will just you know, let a little energy off. And so you don't want those to sit for 6 to a year and go completely dead, because that will damage some of the batteries, the cells and things like that in most batteries, and you could cause some damage for them to not work or the longevity. So definitely a little pro tip: every 1-2 months, even if you forget, if you're storing an item that has a battery, go look for that item, give it a charge, and then go ahead and put it back where you need it if you're not using it. But I do that with a lot of equipment. It is a pain in the butt, but something that's going to add some life to these items. All right, one last thing that I want to point out. So I did, this goes along with the negatives. I did notice a lot of people saying that, you know, they are cheaply built and things like that, but I don't think they're cheaply built. I just honestly think that what happened is a lot of people said things were breaking. They are plastic, okay? And so if these were to fall, like I said, the speaker weighs like a can of pop. It's like spiking a can of pop from 4 foot. And so you're going to do some damage to that. So I could definitely see the mount breaking. I could see this part up here breaking, some of those plastic pieces. So if you are using these for DJ type work or with people around, go ahead and maybe put sandbags or some heavier items on. They do go pretty flat. So you could put some sandbags on here to make sure that this does not fall over, because they will break. It's plastic. So just some kind of little note that will go with the negatives. We'll say they could be a little bit a metal construction or something a little bit better, but for the price point, it is what it is for being plastic. And I could see that's probably some of the negative reviews, is that it was at 4 foot high and it fell over, and yeah, it's going to cause some damage. I just see that. So if you are using them around people, and they're not just sitting in some corners, yeah, you might want to put something around them just to make sure that they don't fall down. Those suction cups work, but they're not super crazy. So just something to let you know. All right. Final thoughts, guys. 2 thumbs up from DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. I think they're good. Great price point, great options, great all those things. And portable, what could I use these for? Well, man, you can use them for a lot of things. Like I said, it is still just a portable little speaker that you can take with you. You can clip it on your bag, on your backpack, on your belt loop. put it somewhere, use the stands and put them wherever you want in the room and have that stereo sound. I think that's just really, really cool. It was just a really cool design. I wish some bigger names would do something like this. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, I think that it's just really intuitive and a great idea. So yes, it's definitely a very cool item. Like I said, if you own like a studio or a little ice cream shop or some kind of private little business where you just need elevator type background music, these are perfect for that. This could even be good for a DJ who needs something like that. I would bring something extra where maybe you could hook up a microphone to it because you might need that. But if you had a gig where they just wanted background music for like a corporate type event and they didn't want, you're not going to be dancing, they're not going to be doing anything crazy, they just want background music at a corporate event and you just need music, these would be perfect for that. You could just 50 to 25 to 50 people. Man, I really think it could handle that in a small setting. No problem. I would definitely use this for something like that. I would just make sure that you securely plant those tripods, maybe some sandbags and stuff in case somebody does bump them, but you could put them where you know the people are going to be, and it's definitely perfect for that. Now, a lot of people might think I'm crazy with these small speakers, but I really think that it has enough volume for background type music. And like I said, I'm not saying you're going to be dancing. If it was a separate room and maybe, like I said, they just want some background type music in that separate room, perfect for that. You don't want it blowing people away. You just want that ambient noise in the background. Perfect for that. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Please like, subscribe, share if this was helpful at all on the Sowo Soundwave Mage Pro. Like I said, really cool speakers, and I think it's definitely worth a checkout at especially that coupon price at $69. So thank you so much. Give me a like, subscribe, share if this is helpful at all. I will give you a quick microphone test at the end if you're interested on how they'd sound if you're using them as a microphone. Other than that, that's all I got for you. Can't wait to see you on my next video or tutorial. Got plenty more content for you. See you in the future. What is up, everybody? It's DJ Martini Midwest, and this is a microphone test on the Soundwave Mage Pro from Sowo. This is how the microphone's going to sound. Now, I am only like probably a foot away from the speaker, sitting down. It's on the table, but this is how it's going to sound if you're close to that range. I'm going to move back just a little bit, but usually if you're about 2 feet away, this is how the microphone's going to sound. So it is possible to use this for making phone calls as well, or taking a call quick as well. Not the best, but not too bad in my opinion. All right, thanks.